Welcome back, everyone. We've got a really interesting deep dive for you today.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one.
We're going to be looking at hardwiring happiness,
Mhm.
scarcity, think and grow rich, and you are a badass at making money.
A lot of material to cover.
It is a lot. But believe it or not, there's some really fascinating connections between these books.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like how your brain reacts to both the good and the bad,
Yes.
plenty and scarcity.
Right, and how those reactions can shape our choices in some pretty surprising ways.
Yeah. Hardwiring happiness was the one that really grabbed my attention first with that whole negativity bias thing.
Oh, yeah, that's a powerful concept for sure.
It's like our brains are Velcro for the negative stuff and Teflon for all the good stuff, right?
Exactly.
Why do you think that is? Like, from an evolutionary standpoint, why would our brains be wired that way?
Well, imagine, you're back in the Stone Age.
Right, we're cave people.
Yeah, you're a cave person, right. And the folks who are laser focused on threats, like constantly on the lookout for danger.
Always looking over your shoulder.
Right. They were the ones who were more likely to survive.
Survive to pass on their genes.
Pass on their genes, yeah. So basically, that wiring is still with us today, even if we're not dodging saber-toothed tigers anymore.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And that totally explains why, like, one mean comment can ruin your whole day.
Absolutely. Or even just outweigh, 10 positive ones,
Yeah. It's like our brains are programmed to fixate on that one bad thing.
It's wild, isn't it?
And hardwiring happiness even gets into, the specific parts of the brain that are involved in this whole negativity bias thing.
Like what, the amygdala?
Yeah, the amygdala, the hippocampus, and the hypothalamus.
Oh, yeah, those are the big players.
They all kind of get in on the action.
And what's really interesting is it creates this vicious cycle.
Oh, right. Yeah, tell me about that.
So, stress today, actually strengthens the amygdala, which makes you even more sensitive to, negativity tomorrow.
So it just keeps building and building.
Yeah, it's like your brain is stuck on this negativity treadmill.
Oh, man. That's kind of depressing, honestly.
It's not great, is it?
But I'm sure hardwiring happiness doesn't just leave us hanging, right? There's
Yeah.
got to be a way to break free from this negativity cycle.
Right, and that's where the book gets really interesting, because it talks about how we can rewire our brains for happiness
Okay, how do we do that?
by, intentionally cultivating positive experiences.
Okay, so it's not just about ignoring the bad stuff.
No, it's about actively trying to strengthen those, neural pathways that lead to, resilience and well-being.
I like that. That makes sense. So what are some of the ways that we can, do that, practically speaking?
Well, one really simple but powerful practice is called taking in the good.
Taking in the good, okay.
It's basically about savoring those positive moments.
Like actually stopping to appreciate them.
Exactly, no matter how small they might seem.
So when I finally managed to make a decent cup of coffee in the morning.
Yeah, exactly like that. Pause for a few seconds and just really let that experience, sink in.
Just be present in the moment.
Yeah, and engage your senses, the aroma, the warmth.
Taste, yeah.
The taste, exactly.
Okay, I can see how that could be really helpful.
Yeah, and hardwiring happiness explains that even just 10 or 20 seconds.
Oh, wow, that's not very long.
Right, of consciously focusing on, a positive moment can dramatically boost its impact on your brain.
Oh, I like that.
Like literally hitting the save button on that good feeling.
I love that. Hitting the save button. Okay, I'm going to remember that one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So we've talked about hardwiring happiness and this whole idea of a negativity bias. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about scarcity.
Sure. Yeah.
That book tackles a totally different kind of challenge, right?
It does. Yeah. Scarcity dives into how, limitations,
Limitations.
Yeah, whether it's lack of time, money, or resources, can create this tunneling effect.
Tunneling. Okay, what does that mean?
It's like, you're so focused on what you're lacking that you kind of can't see the bigger picture anymore.
Oh, yeah. I've definitely been there.
We all have.
Stressed about deadlines, feeling like you don't have enough time, and suddenly you're making, impulsive choices.
Exactly. You're not thinking clearly.
Yeah, choices that you wouldn't normally make.
Right, and that's what scarcity is all about.
Okay, got it.
It explains how this tunneling effect can actually, tax your cognitive capacity.
Oh, so it's literally making you less intelligent in the moment.
Kind of, yeah. Your bandwidth for making good decisions, it shrinks.
Oh, that's a scary thought.
Yeah, and you're more likely to just, react impulsively.
Makes sense. And it makes me wonder, right, if this whole scarcity mindset could actually be linked to that negativity bias we were talking about earlier.
Oh, absolutely. There's definitely a connection there.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
Well, think about it, right? When you're constantly focused on what you're lacking,
Yeah, what you don't have.
what you don't have, your amygdala, that fear center in your brain, it's going to be firing on all cylinders.
It's like a constant state of stress.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're essentially triggering that same threat response, that our ancestors felt in the face of danger.
Oh, wow. So it's like negativity bias and scarcity are like feeding off of each other.
Totally, yeah. Creating this downward spiral.
And scarcity actually uses the example of financial anxiety, leading to like impulsive spending.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic one.
It's like the fear of not having enough money actually makes you more likely to make choices that worsen your financial situation.
Right, it's counterintuitive, but it makes sense when you understand how our brains are wired.
Yeah, it's like you're so focused on the immediate need that you don't think about the long-term consequences.
And that's one of the key points that scarcity makes, is that this scarcity mindset can really trap us in this cycle of short-term thinking.
Which can then lead to even more scarcity.
Exactly, it's like a vicious cycle.
And it's not just about money, right? It can apply to other areas of life too.
Oh, absolutely. Like, think about a messy house, for example.
Okay, yeah, a messy house. How does that relate?
Well, sometimes a messy house can be a symptom of feeling overwhelmed,
Oh, like you're so busy putting out fires in other areas of your life.
Exactly, that you just neglect, the basic upkeep.
And then your physical space kind of reflects that inner chaos.
Right, it becomes a visual representation of that feeling of scarcity, like you don't have enough time or energy.
I never thought about it that way, but it makes total sense.
It's all connected,
Yeah, it really is. Okay, so we've talked about hardwiring happiness and scarcity and how they highlight some of the challenges that our brains are wired for.
Right, the not so fun stuff.
Right, the not so fun stuff. But now I want to dive into the more positive and empowering side of things.
Yes, let's do it.
So let's talk about Think and Grow Rich, and you are a badass at making money.
All right, those are two of my favorites.
They seem to offer like a more hopeful approach to dealing with these challenges, right?
They really do.
Like they acknowledge the challenges, but they also give us tools to overcome them.
Exactly, they empower us to take control.
Yeah, and Think and Grow Rich, that one seems to be all about harnessing the power of desire.
Oh, absolutely. Like Napoleon Hill, the author, he believed that a burning desire was like the starting point of all achievement.
So it's not just about wishing for things, it's about cultivating this deep desire that actually fuels your actions.
Right, it's like that initial spark that ignites the whole process.
Got it. And then you are a badass at making money. That one seems to take a more like emotional approach.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Like encouraging us to really get honest with ourselves about our money blocks and limiting beliefs.
Exactly. Jen Sincero, she doesn't sugarcoat things. She talks about how our money blueprint, those beliefs we've inherited about money, can either support us or sabotage us.
It's like we're all carrying around these invisible scripts that tell us how to relate to money.
Right, and if those scripts are filled with, negativity and scarcity, it's no wonder we struggle to attract wealth.
Right. It's like we're subconsciously pushing it away.
Exactly. So the first step is to become aware of those limiting beliefs.
Okay, become aware.
Yeah, and once we can recognize those thoughts and assumptions we have about money, then we can start to challenge them.
And replace them with, like, more empowering ones.
That's it. It's about rewriting our money stories, creating a new narrative that supports our financial goals.
I love that. Rewriting our money stories. That's such a powerful concept.
It is, and both Think and Grow Rich and You Are a Badass at Making Money really emphasize the importance of aligning our actions with our desires.
So it's not enough to just think positive thoughts. We actually have to, get out there and hustle.
Right. It's about taking action, but not just any action.
Okay, what kind of action?
It's about following your fuck yes, as Jen Sincero says. That feeling of excitement and alignment that tells you you're on the right track.
Oh, I love that. Following your fuck yes.
It's a good one, right.
It's so good. So it's about trusting your intuition, taking risks.
Yeah, and having the courage to pursue your dreams even when they seem, impossible.
I love that. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, but I feel like we're just getting started.
We are just scratching the surface.
There's so much more to explore in these books.
Definitely.
But I think this is a good place to pause for now.
Sounds good.
We'll be back soon to continue our deep dive into hardwiring happiness, scarcity, Think and Grow Rich, and You Are a Badass at Making Money.
Can't wait.
See you next time.
All right, see you then. So yeah, these books, they really give us some tangible tools, to start shifting our mindset.
That's what I love about them. They're not just theoretical.
Right, they're practical.
They give you actual things you can do.
Exactly.
So like Think and Grow Rich, it outlines a 6-step plan, right?
Yeah.
For achieving any goal.
It's like define your desire, set a deadline, create a plan of action.
It sounds pretty straightforward.
It is, but it's a classic recipe for success for a reason.
Yeah, sometimes the simplest things are the most effective. And then you are a badass at making money. It brings in this like more playful, almost rebellious energy.
Oh yeah, definitely. Jen Sincero's like, let's challenge those old money scripts.
Yeah, like rewrite them completely.
And replace them with empowering affirmations,
Okay, I love that. Give me an example of an affirmation.
Sure, so instead of saying, I'm not good with money, which is like a classic limiting belief.
Right, we've all been there.
You would say something like, I am a money magnet.
I am a money magnet. Oh, I like that.
Or abundance flows easily to me.
Okay, yeah, it's like you're literally changing the script.
Exactly. And it might feel silly at first.
I was going to say, it sounds kind of cheesy.
It can, but it's like you're training your subconscious mind to think differently about money.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's not just about thinking positive thoughts. It's about actually changing those underlying beliefs.
Right. It's deeper than just, slapping a positive sticker on a negative thought.
It's about rewiring those deep-seated patterns. But I think it's important to remember, it's not just about the inner work, right? We actually have to take action too.
Oh, absolutely. Action is key.
Think and Grow Rich talks about, having faith in your ability to achieve your goals even before you see the evidence.
Right, like believing it's possible even if you don't know how it's going to happen.
And you are a badass at making money. She really emphasizes that the universe rewards action.
Yeah, like the more you align your actions with your desires, the more you'll attract abundance into your life.
And it makes me think of that quote, the universe doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you believe you deserve.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So if you're constantly telling yourself you're not worthy of wealth, you're basically blocking it from coming to you.
Exactly, you're putting up this energetic wall.
Right, and speaking of blocks, you are a badass at making money. She doesn't shy away from, like, the emotional side of money.
Oh no, she goes right for it.
She's like, let's get real about this stuff.
She encourages us to, really dig deep and identify those fears and insecurities that might be holding us back financially.
Like that feeling of not being good enough or not deserving of wealth.
Yeah, exactly. Like, where did those beliefs come from?
Right, and how are they showing up in your life right now?
It's about acknowledging those money blocks and then working to release them.
Okay, and that sounds like some serious inner work.
It can be, but it's so worth it.
Because it's ultimately about freedom.
Exactly. Freedom from those limiting beliefs that are holding you back.
So we've talked about rewiring our brains for happiness, overcoming scarcity, embracing abundance.
That's a lot.
But what about those moments when, fear creeps in?
Oh yeah, fear is a big one.
That feeling of, what if I fail? Or what if I'm not cut out for this?
We all experience those doubts. It's normal.
Okay, so how do we deal with them?
Well, both Think and Grow Rich and You Are a Badass at Making Money, they offer some great insights on dealing with fear.
Okay, what do they say?
Think and Grow Rich emphasizes the importance of persistence.
Okay, persistence. So like not giving up easily.
Right, because temporary defeats, they're not the same as failure.
It's about getting back up after you fall down.
Exactly. Viewing setbacks as opportunities for learning and growth.
Oh, okay, I like that perspective.
And You Are a Badass at Making Money actually offers this really cool perspective on fear, Jen Sincero suggests, using fear as a compass.
Fear as a compass, okay. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So instead of seeing fear as like a stop sign,
Right, like don't do this.
yeah, you view it as a guidepost. Like if something scares you, but it also excites you, that's a pretty good sign that you're moving in the right direction.
Oh, okay, so it's like if I'm terrified of launching my own business, but I'm also super passionate about it, that fear could actually be a sign that I'm on the right track.
Exactly. It's like you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, which is where the growth happens.
It's like that feeling of being on a roller coaster, right? It's scary, but it's also exhilarating.
Yeah, perfect analogy.
And you are a badass at making money. Shares this story about how Jen Sincero, she invested in this high-end coaching program.
Oh yeah, I remember that story.
Even though she had no idea how she's going to pay for it.
It was a big leap of faith.
It sounds risky.
It was, but it turned out to be like a pivotal moment in her journey.
Okay, what happened?
Well, taking that leap of faith forced her to get creative and resourceful, and she ended up manifesting the money she needed.
Oh, wow. So it's like the universe provided because she took that first step.
Exactly. And it's a great example of how taking action despite fear can lead to like incredible breakthroughs.
It's inspiring.
Right. It is.
Makes you realize that anything is possible.
Right. If you're willing to, step outside of your comfort zone and trust the process.
Yeah, it's like you really got to believe in yourself and what you're doing, even when it feels scary.
Absolutely. And, as we've been talking about all these books, it's interesting how they all touch upon this idea of the subconscious mind, even though they come at it from different angles.
It's like this hidden control panel that's running the show behind the scenes.
Exactly.
And we often don't even realize how much it's influencing everything.
Yeah, all of our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors.
It's kind of wild when you think about it.
It really is. And Hardwiring Happiness talks about how those subconscious neural networks, they're shaped by our experiences, especially those we don't even consciously process.
Okay, so like things that happen to us that we don't even really remember.
Yeah, exactly. Think about those negative experiences that trigger your amygdala.
The ones that make you feel stressed or afraid.
Right. The ones that get stored in your implicit memory, they create these grooves in your brain.
So it's like our brains are literally wired to react in certain ways based on our past experiences.
And those grooves make you more likely to react in similar ways in the future.
Oh, so it's like those negative experiences can become self-fulfilling prophecies.
Exactly, because our subconscious is primed to expect them.
Wow, that's kind of a scary thought.
It is, but the good news is we can change those patterns.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Well, that's where those practices like taking in the good come in.
Right, we were talking about that earlier.
It's about consciously creating new positive grooves that can counteract those negative ones.
So it's not just about positive thinking. It's about rewiring those deep-seated subconscious patterns.
Exactly. And Think and Grow Rich offers some great tools for tapping into the power of the subconscious mind.
Okay, what kind of tools?
Well, Napoleon Hill talks about the importance of creating a definite chief aim.
A definite chief aim.
Okay. It's basically a clear, specific goal that you can focus your energy on.
So like instead of just saying, I want to be successful.
Right, you would say something like, I want to start my own business and generate a 6-figure income by next year.
Okay, that's much more specific.
And then he suggests writing down this aim, visualizing it as already achieved.
It's like creating a mental picture of yourself having already accomplished the goal.
Exactly, and repeating affirmations that support it.
Okay, so like saying things like, I am a successful business owner.
Exactly. The idea is to impress this aim upon your subconscious mind.
So that it can work towards its realization even when you're not consciously thinking about it.
Right. It's like planting a seed in fertile ground and then nurturing it with focused attention.
I like that analogy.
Eventually that seed will sprout and grow into something amazing.
That's beautiful. And it makes me think of Jen Sincero's approach in You Are a Badass at Making Money.
Oh yeah, tell me about that.
Well, she also talks about getting clear on your financial goals, visualizing them in detail, and feeling the emotions of having already achieved them.
It's all about creating that feeling of already having what you want.
Yeah, and she even recommends creating a vision board.
Oh yeah, vision boards are great.
A collection of images and words that represent your desires, right?
Right, and you can look at it regularly to reinforce those positive impressions in your subconscious mind.
So it's like you're constantly reminding yourself of what you're working towards.
Exactly. The key is to make those visualizations and affirmations as vivid and emotionally charged as possible.
The more you can engage your senses and feelings, the more powerful the impact.
Exactly. It's like giving your subconscious mind a clear blueprint of what you want to create.
I love that. And it's not just about positive thinking though, right?
No, it's also about cultivating a deep belief in your ability to achieve those goals.
Even if you don't see the evidence yet.
Exactly. Hill calls this faith, and Sincero calls it knowing.
It's about trusting that the universe has your back.
Yeah, and that when you align your thoughts, beliefs, and actions with your desires, anything is possible.
Okay, I love that. And it makes me think about how this idea of the subconscious mind connects with those concepts of negativity, bias, and scarcity that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
Well, if your subconscious mind is programmed with negative beliefs about money, for example, those beliefs can become self-fulfilling prophecies.
It's like you're subconsciously sabotaging your own success.
Yeah, because you don't truly believe you deserve it, or that it's possible for you.
But when you start to reprogram your subconscious with positive beliefs about abundance, you open yourself up to a whole new world of possibilities.
Right. And the same goes for scarcity.
Absolutely.
If you're always focused on what you lack,
Mm-hmm.
your subconscious mind will pick up on that energy and just keep the cycle going.
Right. But when you start to cultivate that abundance mindset, even when you're facing challenges, your subconscious will start to reflect that shift too.
So it's like we have the power to choose our thoughts and beliefs.
And those thoughts and beliefs will ultimately shape our reality.
And that's where gratitude comes in.
Oh, absolutely. Gratitude is essential.
Because when you focus on what you're grateful for,
Yeah.
it shifts your energy from scarcity to abundance.
Exactly. And it sends a powerful message to your subconscious that you're already rich.
It's like a magnet for abundance.
The more you practice it, the more you'll attract into your life.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I just want to emphasize that your subconscious mind is incredibly powerful.
It is.
And you have the power to shape it.
You do.
Choose your thoughts, beliefs, and actions wisely.
And watch as your reality begins to reflect the abundance and happiness you've cultivated within.
It's been such a fascinating journey exploring these books with you today.
I agree.
And I hope everyone listening has gained some valuable insights that they can apply to their own lives.
Me too. Remember, it's all about taking small steps, trusting the process, and never giving up on your dreams.
Beautifully said. And until next time, keep diving deep and keep exploring that fascinating world within.
See you next time.